The story begins in Denmark during the time of the Vikings. On a hill, a giant was playing with his small child. Suddenly, a Viking leader came there with his men. They wanted to kill the giant. The giant saw the Vikings approaching from a distance and started to flee, lifting his child in his arms. But they had gotten very close to him. Therefore, the giant hid his child and prepared to face the Vikings. However, confronting so many people became difficult for a lone giant. The bandits shot an arrow into Giant's chest and then burned his body. Giant, writhing in pain, fell down the hill and died. A small child was hiding and watching all of this. Then, the Vikings' leader noticed the child. He took off his mask and began to attack the child with his sword. But while swinging the sword, he felt pity upon seeing the child's sweet face and left him there, walking away. But his companions thought that the leader had killed the child as well. After that, the little child came down from the mountain and went to his father's corpse. He wanted to protect his father's body from vultures and crows. But his father's body was so big that he couldn't lift it. Then the child picked up a sword and cut his father's body into several pieces and, taking his father's head in his hand, went to his cave. Many years passed, and now that child had grown up. He had become quite big and even more powerful than his father, but whenever he saw his father's severed head, his memories would be refreshed, and remembering his revenge, he would start crying loudly. On the other hand, the Vikings were celebrating because they had built a single wine house in their village, and the village chief was invited to open it for the first time. On the other side, that giant also came out of the cave. He desperately wanted to avenge his father's death. At same night, while many Vikings were celebrating in that wine house, the giant arrived and crushed the head of the guard on duty outside, killing him. He then entered the wine house and killed all the Vikings present. The next morning, the village chief arrived there with his companions. As soon as he entered, he was stunned by the scene. All the Vikings' corpses were lying there in a gruesome state. They had all been brutally murdered. The chief asked his man, "Where were you when all this was happening?" He replied, "I had gone to the village. Some young boys stayed here to have fun. But it was very surprising that whoever was here did not attack the children or women living nearby." Seeing all this, the chief became very worried. After this, we see another Viking leader, Leo. Leo is a very famous warrior of the Vikings. The Vikings were actually pirates. They survived by plundering other cities and villages and preferred to live in places near water. They were on their way to loot another country when the weather started to turn bad. As a result, they had to stop near Denmark. That night, the local chief set out with some of his soldiers to find the person who was killing the Vikings. But as they moved a little further, he suddenly appeared behind the soldiers and struck one of them down with a single blow. The chief saw all this and, grabbing his sword, ran after the giant. But the giant quickly fled from the scene. The chief couldn't understand why the giant was targeting and killing people, and what he ultimately wanted. The next day, all the villagers came to see the corpses. The chief's wife said to him, "Like this, all the women will become widows. He is choosing to kill only the warriors. If this continues, only women and children will remain in our village." The chief had no answer nor any solution. So, out of shame, he remained silent. After that, the chief's wife went to a woman named Lena, who lived alone on a hill outside the village. The chief's wife said, "They say you can see death before it comes. People say that, so tell me, will my husband also be killed like the others?" Lena said, "You people are the lowest. First, your warriors abducted me from my village, then they used my body, and when they were satisfied, they dumped me here alone. They kicked me out of the village." The chief's wife said that what happened to me was wrong, but she wasn't responsible. Lena said, "It doesn't matter now, and your husband won't die by Joint's hand. But all your other warriors will be killed." Hearing this, the chief's wife quietly left. Meanwhile, Leo arrived near their village with his companions. When a horseback soldier saw them, he warned that this land also belongs to the Vikings. "If you people have come here to loot and plunder, then go back." Leo introduced himself, and the soldier immediately recognized him. Leo said that they only want to rest here for a few days. They have no intention of causing harm to anyone. Upon hearing this, the soldier happily said that he had heard a lot about Leo. "Come, I will introduce you to the village chief." Now Leo and his companions are met the chief. The chief was very happy to meet Leo and said, "The last time I met your father, you were just a small child, and now you have become a great warrior. Leo smiled and nodded his head. That night, the chief arranged a feast with alcohol for Leo and his companions. The chief's wife personally served them the alcohol to drink. During the feast, Leo asked, "Why are there so many widows here? Where have all the Viking warriors gone?" The chief explained that an unknown creature attacks at night and only kills men. Hearing this, Leo said that if the joint comes to kill the Vikings every night, then tonight I will wait for him with my companions. By killing him, I will solve your troubles. After the feast, the chief and his wife and the others returned home. But Leo stayed in the same tavern with his warriors. At midnight, the joint came out of the tavern. First, he went to the priest and started sniffing him. Then he went to the door to see whether the Vikings inside were from here or had come from outside. Inside, Leo and his companions understood that the giant had arrived and immediately prepared for battle. But the joint realized that the Vikings inside the tavern were not from here. Instead of coming in, the joint urinated on the closed door. When the Vikings came out to fight the joint, it had already disappeared into the darkness. The next morning, the chief began to tell Leo that it was quite strange. "How did that giant leave you all alive?" Leo said, "Yes, it came to the door, but instead of fighting, it just urinated and left." After this, Leo set out with some of his warriors and a few villagers to search for the giant in the mountains. They hoped that they would find it and kill him. However, after searching extensively, they could not find the giant. Therefore, they returned to the village exhausted. After a while, Leo went alone to meet Lena, who lived near a hill outside the village. He told Lena that he had heard she could see death before it arrived. To this, Lena replied yes. She then asked Leo why he was there. Leo said, "I want to know who will die in this battle between the giant and the Vikings, and whether we can kill this giant or not. It's important to know because I want to protect the people." In response, Lena shared her sorrowful story, saying, "These people deserve it. Let them die. They looted and stole me from my home and then forced me to live a life of shame." As for your question, the answer is yes. I have seen the future. Giant will be killed, but many Vikings will also die with him, and this land will turn red with blood, and that's what should happen to these people. Additionally, Lena said that these people are suffering the consequences of what they did to Giant, and you should stay away from all this. Before Leo could ask anything else, his companions found him and reached there, saying that night is approaching, and we need to start preparing. Then Leo went with them. Going back, he asked the tribal chief if the giant had ever killed a woman or a child. The chief replied that no, he only killed men. Leo said that meant he was sensible and had some principles. Hearing this, the chief became angry. He said that our people are dying. You are praising him. Leo said that I am not praising him. I was just calculating that whatever he's doing it thoughtfully. Then the chief said that 20 years ago we had killed a giant. Since then, not a single giant was seen for a long time. I don't know where it came from. That night, Leo and his companions started waiting for the giant to arrive at the liquor house. As soon as they heard the sound of the giant's arrival, they came out with swords in their hands. But the giant was nowhere to be found. Actually, Giant had left after seeing that the same people from outside were present here again, as he had no fight with them. The next morning, Leo went back to Lena and asked her, "Tell me, how can I kill Giant?" Lena replied, "Why don't you go home with your friends?" Leo said, "Before leaving, I want to kill Giant and free the people here." After that, Lena took Leo to her hut and started chanting spells after gathering some bones there. At that moment, Leo realized that Giant had already arrived outside. But as soon as he saw Leo, he ran away. Leo mounted his horse and began to chase him. However, Giant quickly climbed up the hill. Leo said angrily, "If you have the courage, then face me. Why do you keep running from me?" Then Giant said something in his own language and fled from there. Leo didn't understand anything, but Lena had understood. She told Leo that the giant had said, "I have no enmity with you. You and your companions haven't harmed me. That's why I won't attack you." Hearing this, Leo was surprised. He went back to Lena and asked her why she had come here if that was the case. Lena replied, "I live here alone. Every night, some Viking warrior or the other would come and try to take advantage of me. But since Giant has started killing them, no one bothers me anymore. That's why I won't help you, because I don't want Giant to be killed. This giant has endured a lot in his life." After understanding all this, Leo went to the chief and told him that he had spoken to the giant through Lena. He told me that Viking warriors had oppressed him greatly. That's why he is now seeking revenge. Upon hearing this, the chief panicked and said, "I will talk to you about this later." When Leo was on his way to his companions, he saw that some children were brutally beating up a man. Leo chased the children away, and then the man told Leo that his father had fought against Joint's father. "That's why Joint killed my entire family. I know where Joint lives. You can go with your companions and kill him." Upon hearing this, Leo and his companions got ready to go to the cave where Joint lived, boarding a boat. They started climbing the hill to find a way inside the cave. A Viking tried to go there, but his foot slipped. Fortunately, his companions saved him. After that, no one even dared to go down. But some soldiers urinated on the path to the cave and returned. As they were returning in the boat, the giant attacked from under the water. He began trying to pull into the water the Viking who had urinated on the cave first. But then the other soldiers attacked him with their spears and saved their comrade's life. After this, all the soldiers returned to the tavern and began waiting for Giant. But that night, Giant did not come. The next morning, when Leo came out of the tavern, he saw that Giant had killed the man who had shown them the way to the cave. Furious, Leo went back into the cave with his companions. This time they used ropes to climb down. When they reached the inside of the cave, they saw strange things. A soldier smashed Giant's father's skull against the wall and then urinated on it. Giant was not present at the time. But when he returned, he saw the broken pieces of his father's skull. With his sharp nose, he understood who had come here. Now that his house had been attacked, he was seething with anger. That very night, when all the Vikings were sleeping in the tavern, Giant arrived and first killed the soldier who had broken his father's skull. Seeing all this, Leo also started fighting with Giant. But Giant was much stronger than Leo. After killing his prey, Giant now tried to escape through the roof. But Leo grabbed his leg and pulled him down. Leo wrapped a heavy iron chain around his hand. In anger, Giant punched Leo and tried to break the chain. But his hand got stuck in it. A Viking shot an arrow at him, but Giant pushed him away. Before the others could do anything, Giant cut off his own hand and fled from there. He started running towards the sea. But he couldn't go far and died on the shore. But then suddenly an invisible force pulled his body into the sea. The thought-provoking thing was that he was so steadfast in his principles. If he had wanted to, he could have killed everyone at that moment. But he only killed those who had broken his father's skull. He gave his life but did not kill any innocent person. The next day, the Vikings began to mourn their fallen comrades, and their bodies were cremated. Leo told the chief that "You have told me half the truth. Now Giant is dead. Now tell the truth." Now the chief admitted that they had killed his father without reason. He had made no mistake. He had never attacked any human, and in the end, we suffered the consequences. Anyway, that night, the Viking warriors started celebrating in the liquor house by hanging up Joint's severed hand, believing that Joint was dead forever. After that, most people went back to their homes, and Leo went to meet Lena at her hut. Lena told Leo that what she had said happened, and Giant was killed, but you all still have more pain to endure. After that, Lena started telling Leo about her past life. Many years ago, Giant came to her. She spent only one night with him. After that, he never touched her again. But there was one benefit. After that night, no Vikings ever bothered me. Lena also told Leo that he wasn't bad. He just had the pain of his childhood within him. As they talked, Lena and Leo grew closer and soon found themselves in each other's arms. In the midst of that dark night, the mother of the giant entered the village. She had come to avenge her son's death. Along the way, she also killed the priest. She had no rules of kind. Blind with rage over her son's death, she then went to the liquor store and killed all the Vikings. After that, she left, taking her son's severed hand with her. The next morning, a small boy quietly came to Lena. Lena told him to be quiet and took him away from there. Meanwhile, the Vikings began to think that Giant was still alive and that he had committed all the murders. The Vikings set out to find him. At the seashore, they found the severed head of a Viking. Leo's suspicion grew even more. Perhaps Giant is really alive. He alone jumped into the water and went inside the cave. Inside, he found Giant's body lying on a rock. As soon as he came closer, Giant's mother attacked him from behind. She choked him and started beating him up. But Leo picked up a stone and hit her hard on the head. Then, he took out his sword and killed her. During this time, a small boy came there with a sword in his hand. Seeing him, Leo understood what had happened. This boy was the son of Lena and Joint. Leo lowered his sword and did nothing to him. History repeated itself once again. Later, Leo went back to the tribe and told the chief that he was leaving. Giant and his mother are now truly dead. Before leaving, he met Lena once again and told her that if people find out that Giant has a son, they will kill both of you. Lena nodded and said that this secret will remain only between the two of us. Saying this, she left from there. In the end, Leo dug graves for Giant and his mother outside Lena's house. From a distance, Giant's son was watching everything with tears in his eyes. Then Leo returned home with his companions. With this, the story ends here. If you liked the video, please like it, subscribe to the channel.